Welcome to the Legion Outriders podcast, your source for the latest Legion news, opinion, and analysis. And now, the Outriders.
There, in the distance, a silhouette shimmering against the bleak desert. Oh my gosh, it's the Outriders. What's up, Dan? How's it going?
We're doing great. And was that silhouette printed by Six Up Supply?
It could be. Dan and Matt here with you. And wow, so last episode was a little brief. This one is looking to be a little supersized because we have got oodles and oodles of size snoodles.
One would call it dummy thick.
Oh, yes. Yeah. The clapping of this news is thunderous. But glad to have you all back. And like I said, we got a lot to talk about here, both Star Wars news, Legion news. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, yes.
Plus an interview with Tummnus today to talk about his experience on Tabletop Simulator in the Invader League. What was it, 6? 5?
Invader League 6. Yes.
6, yes. Okay, so I want to make sure. Also, I'm going to say it now, 6 Up Supply. Dude, I'm looking for confirmation. Okay,
yes, you got it. Good. Again, Keegan, we love you. Thank you.
Yeah. More news on that soon.
Yes.
But anyways, so let's go ahead and start on off. A garbled hyperspace transmission coming in with some Star Wars news.
Yeah, so fortunately, a little bit of controversy in the Star Wars sphere.
A little bit? Yeah.
And we're not going to spend too much time on this.
It's very odd for Star Wars fans to have opinions about things. You know, it almost never happens, it seems.
Yeah, so Lucasfilm recently announced, unfortunately, that, quote, Gina Carano is not currently employed by Lucasfilm, and there are no plans to be in the future. This comes right after, and of course she has had several controversial social media posts in the past.
Oh, yeah. But it's pretty well documented.
A recent few controversial posts she's had. Personally, like I said, we're not political, so we're not going to go into the whole political.
Yeah, we tried to say apolitical,
but on the
for fun and entertainment, but still.
I like watching the business side of things if it hasn't been obvious in the past.
Finding out how the sausage is made is not always the best thing.
But my interesting thoughts on this are, what are marketing wise, the two most marketable characters from Mandalorian have been Cara Dune and Grogu. Well, Grogu's going off with Luke, and now Cara Dune's not going to be back. So. Where's the merchandising going with this? Where's the marketing going with this? Interesting.
Merchandising?
Yes.
Let me show you my friend here, Boba Fett.
Well, yes, yeah. So the Book of Boba Fett, of course, is the next show coming out in this series, and it didn't include her anyway, but once we get back to Mando Season 3, it'll be interesting to see how they work that around.
Yeah, I know people are floating the idea of, I don't know, recasting Lucy Lawless, or replacing with a similar character.
Yeah, either writing out, and I think writing out's the easiest. She can just stay the sheriff or whatever of Navarro, and they just Marshal of Navarro.
Marshal.
Yep, and they just don't go back to Navarro.
That's the easiest way to. She's getting coffee. I don't know.
Yeah,
you just missed her.
They announced it on Ben Shapiro's show, which will be this Sunday. Which, of course, by the time this
will have happened, so you can go back and watch it, or maybe you saw that already.
Yeah. Depending on how quickly we can get this edited, but we may or may not be out before or after this interview to see what her side of the story on all this is. So
okay, well, I think enough said on that. Yeah. But in other worse news, somehow,
I don't know if I'd call this worse. It's weird. Yeah, it's another weird.
No, I got hooked in whenever Patreon's diff, who's been hanging out in the Discord and my stream, was like, "Hey, new Star Wars game coming out real soon." I was like, "Oh boy, what is it?"
So of course we all talked about before where EA has lost the exclusivity of Star Wars games, so other people are doing them now. And the first to come from that little change. Zynga. Yeah, you remember Zynga?
Yeah, I do. What is it, 2008?
Words with Friends in Farmville.
Wow, they did Words with Friends
They did
too?
Words with Friends too,
right.
yeah. So they're releasing a game called Star Wars Hunters. This was announced on Nintendo Direct's stream for new games coming for the Switch. So this will be out for the Switch.
So what this means is they're going to have a Star Wars skin for Words with Friends, so you can actually spell...
Yeah, probably.
26 points.
And honestly, not much. The trailer, they did have a trailer, but it really doesn't show anything about the game.
It was like there was some arena noise going on in the background.
The only blurb I could find was on Star Wars' own website, or the little news announcement of this is, it's a, quote, competitive arena combat game coming to the Nintendo Switch in 2021, and it will bring players together in an engaging, thrilling, team-based multiplayer battles featuring a diverse array of distinctive new Star Wars characters. This smells kind of like, MOBA. I'm smelling MOBA. Or, some sort of arena shooter, arena combat thing.
That's all the fork knife kids these days.
Yeah, so. I mean, I like how they specifically say distinctive new Star Wars characters, so they're not using any existing characters; they're just making up new ones.
Do you think, or do you think they're gonna have new ones plus old ones?
Hot take: Masters of Terrascasi 2.
Wow. Okay.
So
I was not prepared for that today.
But yeah, so I don't think anyone expected our first new game announcement to come from Zynga of all people, but we'll see.
Hunters.
We'll see how this comes out. So.
I was like I said, I was kind of like, oh, it's going to be on Switch. Maybe I finally need to get a Switch. I haven't had a Nintendo since like the GameCube. And then I saw Apple App Store. I was like, oh, no. I was like, all right, never mind. Disregard.
Yeah, I mean, this has the possibility of being mobile app-y, microtransaction-y, also all around it. But we'll see how it turns out. So.
Well, tell you what, let's leave all that stuff way behind in the hyperspace lanes and jet on over to the AMG Asmodee whatever Legion news.
Yeah, so more related to Legion, but bigger with Asmodee. Asmodee recently acquired Board Game Arena, which is a browser-based board game playing site. I
didn't they just cut out like all their Asmodee digital?
Yeah, they shut down FFG's digital side and a few things. So
I mean, the stuff is still out there, but I guess not being developed anymore.
But this site, I popped in it because I'd never heard of it before. It's basically a 2D top-down, very similar to Vassal. In a way.
Really?
So I can't see any of the miniatures games really translating to it. Maybe more of the board games of the other companies that Asmodee owns, but. I mean, X-Wing, yes, does have a Vassal port, but Legion would not function in this format at all, in my opinion. Yeah. Armada, definitely not. And X-Wing...
Star Wars chess.
Yeah. I mean, Rebellion, Outer Rim could function in this format. So.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, any of the actual board games should be all right.
Yeah,
as long as you're not playing, 3D chess or something. Was it 40? 40, yes. Yeah. I'm playing 3D chess.
But AMG has been gracing us with Star Wars streams the last 2 weeks here. We've had a lot of, at least very good, awesome painting.
You got a question answered.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I did post it in the... I mean, it wasn't really Legion related. It was more like...
No, but it was a good question. I was just happy Simone answered
it. So of course, they got the chat there and they answer select questions. And I said, well, all the streams so far have been Legion related.
I'm very sad about that.
I know. Not to be sad about that. Yeah. But of course, they're hobby streams. That's what AMG streams usually are.
Sure. And it makes sense that they would... the hobby game they have. Right?
Exactly. And whereas, Armada or X-Wing really doesn't have... Unless they do, I suggest that. I'm like, hey,
I can almost hear Kravik screaming in the background.
But I asked, hey, when are Armada and X-Wing going to get any streams? And they announced that they're doing a stream extravaganza. I did not write the dates down because
I think it was March.
I am
March 18th, I think.
Yes, I'm a horrible podcaster.
That's fine. They'll tell you about it. I put you on the spot with some information you didn't put on the show notes.
Yes,
so
I know. You're taking me off script. It's March 18th to 20th.
I remembered. Holy cow.
Yes.
So that makes it even more infuriating. I couldn't remember Keegan's
I don't know if AMG has announced this, but they're doing an March live stream extravaganza from March 18th to 20th. So we'll see.
If you're sobered up from St. Patrick's Day, jump on in there.
Yes. There was a suggestion to paint a callus as a leprechaun. In the stream, so
yeah. The wee little rebels.
Yeah, I mean he's got the mutton chops. You paint him, paint him red-haired and in a suit green, and there you go. But anyway, in the streams, though, they did also announce, and this is known news by now, but that the specialist packs for the Republic and Separatists have been delayed. A U.S.-only delay.
Yeah.
The rest of the world actually has already released officially.
Yeah.
They blame trains. They blame trains. Yes,
Oh,
they
okay.
specifically blame
infrastructure.
trains.
Got
Yes.
it, yeah. Yeah, I got gifted a picture of a stack of 6 specialist packs for the Republic, and I was like, "Oh, isn't that nice for you?"
And I mean, the last bit of general news: the LVO update. We've got.
Wait, are we really doing this every episode? I mean, LVO update.
342 days till LVO. Luckily, with and we'll talk.
To do a T-shirt with you, like LVO update, and then it's got like your silhouette reaching up and changing out the numbers, like at an old ballpark or something.
But yeah, we'll talk a little bit more about some 3D printing later. But what Jeff and I have been working on actually has inspired me. I dusted off Tinkercad and I've been going back in and making some minor tweaks of things. So
oh, good.
Hopefully, I'll have something to show for that soon.
So, what have you been up to? I've been assembling ARC troopers and trying to count out how many Phase 2 helmets I've got actually to go back and replace Phase 1 troopers with.
That seems to be the trend now. Is everyone's like, yeah, we get buy an ARC trooper pack and get an extra Phase 2 pack.
I did get an extra ARC trooper, and I've got like one more figure to build for the first box, and I'm going to get into the second one.
Hey, I mean, down at Power 9, there actually have been Phase 2 boxes on shelves. So
yeah, that's
crazy.
right. Oh, actually, they had Phase 2? Oh, I need to get another one of those, too.
There was at least last weekend where I got a game in.
Hey, I think you said you might be getting a game in this tonight,
no,
too. So let
exactly.
me know. But how was your game last weekend?
Oh, yeah, no. So our local game store, of course, Power 9, had a casual event. And we had, the casual events are great because everyone just basically meets up and plays whatever format they want.
Yeah, it's a nice day to set aside and like, okay, we're gonna have tables, we're gonna have that nice back room area, and everything was set up. And did you get one game in? Or
I got one game because I played an 800 point.
Oh, you did full size.
I did a full game, which I wanted to get. I've really been loving getting games in, not only but getting full games in.
I'm excited that you're excited. It's exciting me. So,
but yeah, I always love bringing out the Star Tours table. That was a crowd favorite. So.
Yeah, I mean, it is clearly. But
yeah, no, these events have been really good. We actually had the most turnout as opposed to some structured events we've tried at the game store.
Yeah, well, I think we've got we're getting a lot of young players in.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not age-wise young, but they're just kind of newer to Legion.
Yeah.
So maybe a more relaxed approach is the best way, so they can just kind of coach him through some guys. Because you played a newer guy, right?
Yeah, I played he started playing in December.
Oh, okay.
I didn't talk to him to get his permission to talk about himself too much, but that's fine.
Okay. You know who you are.
I know, yes, exactly. If you listen, I don't know if he listens. We haven't been pushing the podcast at the store.
You didn't hit him with the "Don't you know who I am"? No, you've actually
I'm
become you've slid into the Mr. Community slot, and I love you for it, bud.
Yeah, I mean that's the
store.
store.
He's helping out and getting things run and all that kind of thing.
Yeah, the store owner actually has been reaching out to me and say, "Hey, what do you want to do for the next event?" Like asking me. I'm like,
yes.
Legion.
How about some Star Wars Warrior funds?
But supposedly we are getting a couple more Lukes from AMG or from Asmodee, I should say.
I might actually have a chance.
Yeah,
I really got to get a
So
Rebel
you're
list
saying there's a chance?
Yeah, I mean. Well, we had the first 3 go out, and I think they went out to the
Jeff got one of them.
Yeah, Jeff, Dan A, and
who got that last one?
I think that was the painting one. I wasn't able to make that one at all. Yeah, I was out of town that weekend, but
anyway.
There's X amount of figures out there.
Yeah. So, but no, I got a good game in. I'm still playing, of course, my 3-4 Shore, as I call it.
I love that name.
Because it's, again, it's Iden, 3 ISFs, 4 Stormtroopers with DLTs, a Shore Trooper, no heavy with an officer, and then a mortar.
Okay.
So it's fun. I like mixing up that core because it brings a lot more bodies on the table.
It's a hard list to play against. I mean, you play
the one game that we played.
I mean, yeah, but I feel like I got a pretty good display of what it can do, especially when you get to dictate the terms of the engagement.
Oh yeah. So of course, this last game we did get recover supplies again.
What a surprise.
And fortify positions again.
Oh, good.
And this time, though, on Long March. So this.
Oh, my goodness.
So, yes, basically it was, of course, Long March is 3 out from one end of the board.
Yeah.
And fortify position lets you put barricades at 2 outside of your deployment zone. So basically at range 5 from the end of each side of the board, there was literally I had my 4 barricades in a line. He had his 4 barricades in a line.
Man.
So there was literally a no man's land
Wow.
in the middle of the board.
Yeah.
And of course, both of us were, and we talked later about our strategies, what we were thinking.
Get to the barricade!
Yeah. Yes, we have been told that we aren't referencing barricade enough anymore.
This is true. Without
so-
Josh on the thing to crack that stinking joke every time it occurs to him.
Josh, I know you don't listen anymore, but we miss you.
Yeah.
But anyway, basically we had 2 gun lines, and my theory was, well, I'm fine. I've got infiltrate units. So, of course, first deployment, I put Iden right on the box in the middle.
As you do.
And my 3 ISFs were along my barricade line. He was thinking, I don't mind Long March because he had recon intel plus scouting party.
Ooh.
I forgot to mention he was playing clones. He was playing Rex Padme.
Oh, fun. Okay.
And literally he just advanced his ARC squads and his scouting party in phase 2 with Rex most of the way up to his barricade line. So there were turn 1 shots, even though we were on Long March.
Wow. That's impressive.
So both of us were like in the back of our heads, like, yeah, we don't mind that Long March. We actually wanted it because we're like, I can reach it faster than you. Well, we both
Turns
were reaching
out,
the same.
yeah.
But I was initially winning on objectives. I didn't grab the center box, brought it back to my barricade. She died a glorious death trying to hop the barricades.
Wow. Did she trip and just faceplant and then
No,
died
it
of
was
shame?
it was I of course played pulse scan just so I can get her going quick. He played take that clankers just to get the extra range.
Yeah.
And yes, it was basically her running as far as possible and then a hailfire of range 4.
I remember there was an exchange in the group chat that there was a question regarding how Take That Clankers was being played. Maybe that was a different game.
That was a different game, but
okay.
yeah.
But
She basically got it up to the barricade line where one of my ISS was able to basically hop over, grab it, and hop back over.
God.
So,
good job, Cap. Here we go. Tag.
My hubris, though.
Oh, no.
Yes, I did end up losing because we tied on objectives, and I lost on kill points. I had a stormtrooper squad with one of my quote-unquote safe boxes that I put on mine that I was just using the DLT to take pot shots at range 4.
Just pew, keep them honest.
Just to and instead of just, if I had just taken the box and run backwards, would have been a win.
Oh, have we learned?
Yes.
Has this been filed away?
Yes, so
teach me.
He was able to extend on round 6, extend just enough to kill that squad. Yeah. It was a great ups and downs the whole game.
That sounds like a really good.
It was a
especially
really
for
great game.
somebody who's only been playing for a couple months. That's fantastic.
And he had a couple questions, but we were able to get through it. I mean, the biggest confusion we had was can one unit carry more than one box? But yes, you can.
Yeah.
I had one of my ISFs, the one who grabbed the one over the barricade, run to one of my safe boxes and grab that, and then literally run behind a star speeder
and
at
then
the
start
back
palletizing it and getting it ready for shipment.
Exactly. They had their tape guns and
yeah.
crap and
the noise, I can hear it.
But so I did end up losing that, but just by literally the last roll of the last shot of the game was the kill shot on that last one. So it was.
Who cares?
It was
honestly,
fun. It was a great.
No, exactly. It's when you have a game that's close, that is that close, and having that much fun with it. At that point, who wins or loses, especially at a casual event for a new player. Oh man, that's huge. Mm-hmm. So good on you. I'm glad you had a lot of fun with that, man. Definitely looking forward to the next one, especially now that we know we're getting more Lukes.
Yeah. So I'll have to work with the store owner down at Power 9 and coordinate something with that. So,
sweet.
But it was fun.
If you could, I don't know, somehow stack the deck in my favor, abuse your authority, that would be great. Thank you. You're on the dark side already, man. So I'm just saying, just lean into it a little. No. Of course not.
The store hands out the Lukes. I don't.
Yeah.
I just get the people in the building. That's my job.
All right. That's fair enough. But okay, guys, we're going to take a short break, and then we're going to be back with an interview, and then we've got a lot of discussion on some command cards coming up, so stay tuned.
You are receiving the Legion Outriders podcast. Ending the transmission now would be most unfortunate. And now, the Outriders.
Welcome back, Outriders. We've got an interview right now with Tummnus from Discord, Kyle Allison from Portland, Oregon. How's that weather out there for you, bud?
I am lucky. I'm a little further south, so for me the snow wasn't quite as bad, but stopped work for a while.
Oh, really? Damn. So some good time to get in some tabletop simulator games then, probably.
A little bit.
Yeah, better than going outside. But yeah, Tummnus has been supporting us for a while, and he mentioned he was getting into... This is your second time in the TTS League?
Yes, this is my second time in Invader League.
Cool. So we've talked to LJ plenty of times about it, but we've never actually gotten, the Imperial grunt on the ground's opinion and view of how the leagues run and things like that. So we asked him. He said yes, and thank you again for making the time. But overall, you came back for a second helping of Invader League. Are you having fun with it?
Yes. And with that second helping, I have to preface the first helping was probably the most thrown to the wolves situation possible.
Oh, okay. Just straight into the deep end, huh?
Yes, my group for Invader League last year was the Group of Death.
I remember you mentioning that. That's right.
Yeah, so I had Garanana, R1H4, and the reigning champion Luke Cook in my first ever Invader League go around.
So that was a manhandling, I'm imagining.
Yes. As soon as that came out, it was just, yeah, I'm just going to see what I can learn because there's nothing I can do about this.
Hey, there you go. Treat it as a life experience and try to glean some information out of it. But you are a dedicated Imperial player.
My man.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I am. I'm full on imps. I dabble with the clones just because it's fun. But the only list I play with the clones is a Anakin Obi list because having the bros together is just a little too much fun.
That's right. Hell yeah. So what, if any, changes did you make when you were prepping from last season to this one?
There wasn't really too many big prep changes. Just because with everything being that it is with COVID season, there wasn't a whole lot of real life prepping that I could do. And being a dad of 3, it makes it a little difficult to carve out enough time to just hop on to TTS for 3 hours.
Oh man, yeah, it's got to be a
week and
luxury.
a half in it.
Yeah. You were saying that you had to get up for a game at 5 a.m. or something one time?
Yes, I did get up at 5 a.m. on a Saturday because the person was on East Coast time. Because I wanted to get a game in before the rest of my day was really full.
Wow. That's some dedication right there. I think if I was in that situation, I would have just written, "Dear Diary, today I called it Give Me a Loss."
Although I'm trying to remember if that game was my best game. No, that was game number 3. Not game number 2. Game number 2 was my best game so far.
Well, why don't you tell us about your pod? Obviously, you were playing Imperials for this one.
Yes.
How was the player pool?
Player pool is pretty good. Should have pulled it up so that I could get people's names right.
But not the pot of death.
No, not the pot of death. Still some really good people. So we have all these are Discord names. Lord of Paper Towel, R37 No 8, Rob Cop, Hustle and Fett, and Pop Hop.
Nice.
Pop pop.
Pop Hop.
How many games have you gotten in so far?
I've gotten in four
Okay.
games. Lost all four.
Oh, okay. All right.
But
So really the entrenched troopers perspective.
No, I mean, just
Yes,
maintain your record
yes.
from last season, right?
yes, yes. But with this season, it's because I really wanted to try to make something work.
Okay, so you're using it for some experimentation, some field recon.
Yeah. Last season, because I was in the group of death, I just chose something that sounded like fun and went with it. Because last season was also the partially locked lists.
So you're
where
trying
this
out the
season-
lizards and wizards.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I was
Dewbacks
doing
and Bosks and Palpatines and
yeah. So with the locked list last year, I just kind of went, well, let's do something crazy off the wall and see what happens.
okay.
With this year, since I could make those little shifts in between each match, my original goal was try to make a Iden Inferno squad list workout.
That sounds familiar.
Just because I want Inferno to be good with Iden. But every single time I would do something, it'd be like, oh, is it really the other thing that I'm having a problem with, or is it Inferno, or what?
Yeah, we've had some discussions. I know I talked to Dan after talking to you previously. I guess Inferno's just not quite as points efficient as people would like.
Not compared to the standard ISF what they're having.
Was that your finding as well?
Yeah, it's mainly what it feels like the most is the dice pool. Is the fact that even though the ISF is a worse dice pool, those 4 whites versus the 2 red that you get from Gideon plus the critical 2 means that you can get so many more crits more reliably that you can just push more over cover. Because the one time in my 3rd game against Lord Paper Towel, or no, not Lord Paper Towel. This is my 3rd game against R37.
Okay.
He was playing a Anakin clones list, and I got, this is probably one of the best turns I ever got with Inferno. Did attack strike turn, used ascension cables to get up the side of a stairwell type thing.
It's already very cinematic.
Yes. And then continued up the stairwell to get a completely open shot on Anakin before he had activated no dodge tokens, no nothing. It's like, this is perfect. Best thing ever.
And what happened?
And yes. So I rolled the 6 dice. I had pushed. I had retinued an aim. So I had 4 aims. I thought I was set and ready to go.
I mean, most people would, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can't get it much better.
No, on paper, that's solid.
Yeah.
I then roll the dice. 2 of the black dice come up blank.
Yep, and
So
those black dice, yep.
And it's like, okay. So I re-roll. I end up getting the full 6 hits.
Okay.
But then it's like, I'm Anakin, and I have red dice.
That old chestnut, yeah.
And it was just one of those things of, red dice, thou cruel and heartless queen, thou giveth and taketh away.
Yeah. That'll happen. But apart from that, there was another part of your list that you were running that I was very excited about. Something about a biker gang?
Yes. I, along with it, was running triple bikes.
Yay! More bikes.
I was trying to have a decent bid with all of them. So the lowest bid that I've had so far in the list was 12 points.
Wow.
But I didn't want to have the list be stuck where it's like, oh, I have to have recover the supplies in a good position so that I can infiltrate and get out of there.
Right. Damn.
So I was just kind of like, well, I don't want to go all in on the ISF. Like, I don't want to run the 333 that everybody says is the best thing on the planet. Like I don't want to run that.
I feel like you're being attacked, Dan.
No, I mean, well, because I've made it public. I do a variant of the 333.
Okay.
I actually, my internal name for it is 3-4 Shore. But
I like that. I like
Yeah,
that.
that's
better
good.
than the
That's
$5
good.
footlong I've got.
exactly.
It's still a solid list, but it's just not what I'm wanting to
Sure.
play. Even
I
though
mean-
I love the Alpha Strike. Like
Uh-huh.
when Death Troopers and Shores first came on, like I was hard in on that range
that was some hotness.
for crazy Alpha Strike. I loved running 2 Death Troopers, 2 snipers,
Oof.
and just like reining in the turn 1 range 4. I loved it. So to an extent, the 333 type thing is up my alley because I do like the Alpha Strike, but it's a level of finicky planning that I don't necessarily like too much. So by adding in the bikes, I could then plan for breakthrough and bombing run and be like, okay, 3 of my 4 objectives I feel really solid on because of my unit choices.
Nice. So you've gotten 4 games in so far. You've got what? At least one left?
Yes, I got one more left that
Okay.
I need to do.
Thus far, which would you say has been your best overperforming unit? Maybe you got more out of it than you expected, and vice versa, underperforming. Wall of Fame and shame here.
Yes. Wall of Fame really was the bikes.
Really? That's exciting.
I totally thought they were just going to be my fill-in unit. Maybe I'd use them to get the bombing run off, and they would just they were pretty good for 75 points.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't expecting too much. But then on my second game, which was my closest game against Lord Paper Towel, I had 2 bikes that basically stayed together the whole game, and they took Sabine off the board and nearly took Clan Ren off the board.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And at the same time, they were just rolling. I don't know how, but they were rolling their defense dice.
Wow.
So it
that's a bonus. Yeah.
It was a little bit of the dice gods helping me out there. But at the same time, just I fell in love with them because of the change of compulsory move. I hated them before the changes. Once the changes occurred, it's just like, oh, I can do so much with these guys now. They can really be those dive in, dive out. And with them, I also was capable of breaking the one bad Imperial habit that we all have, which is taking a particular action that we always really like to take, which is called aiming. because of the beginning of the game, we Imperial players love to take our aims and go, give me all the aims, give me
all the aims.
But with the new changes to compulsory, it allowed for a couple times to not use my compulsory move as my first move, so I could move the unit a little bit shorter, attack into somebody, and then use my compulsory longer move to attempt to hide people behind cover or line of sight blocking.
Oh, there you go.
And
instead of the compulsory scoot then shoot, you shoot then try and scoot out of the way. So the best kind of cover is not being in line of sight,
not being seen in the first place.
I like that. That's really cool.
Yeah, but the stock on bikes has really gone up. They're kind of a dark horse in the Imperial Army right now.
Oh,
or an underdog,
man.
I should say.
They're such a classic unit. I love to see they're getting more love.
Yeah, I would love, and this is just because I am that hardcore Imperial player. I want to see that little bit raise up. Like, I would love to get just a smidge of parity, it feels like, with the Staps. Because when you're looking at the attack dice, when you're looking at the was it 6 black versus the double rainbow, statistically, it's equivalent. You're gonna roughly get the same amount of
statistics always works out.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Vintage. Yeah. As I said, red dice.
Go Anakin. Yeah.
That cruel queen.
Yeah.
That cruel queen. But the biggest thing is they can survive that first attack with agile. And where with bikes, it's like, well, unless I get really lucky on my defense dice, I'm probably going to lose a model on that first attack.
Well, I think I've come up with a solution for this. AMG, if you're listening, give 74Zs to droids. I think that would be absolutely... That's the way to fix that one, right?
In the old Tartakovsky Clone Wars, they did have those Magna Guards on bikes.
That's right. They had
really
like the IG series, the Lancer guys. Yeah.
Yep. I'll take lances on the Imperial.
But I think we're trying to fix the Imperial.
Give me ram. That's fine. I can be fine with speeders getting ram and with a lance. That sounds good to me.
Let's see. How could we get agile with 74Zs without like doing a major unit rewrite? Maybe give them a comm slot, like a little Zelda Link to the Past fairy that's like, hey, look out, there's a tree, or something that's screaming instructions to them in their helmets.
The George of the Jungle upgrade, watch out for that tree.
Exactly, there you go. But, okay, so the bikes were doing some work for you, weren't expecting. So underperforming, I think we probably can guess.
Yeah.
Yes, sadly it was Inferno.
Yeah.
On paper, they look so good.
In a vacuum, with no factors acting upon them.
Only one white die short of a DLT Death Trooper squad for their attack roll.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of beautiful things on there.
Did they just get focus fired a lot? I mean, did they get picked out?
They can get picked out. They don't. Their survivability ends up being only just a smidge better than a stormtrooper squad because of reliable only being there once. Without trying to get salty, when you like do the comparison to Clan Ren, like everything that Tristan and Ursa actually bring to the Clan Ren is beneficial to the unit card Clan Ren. So you're bringing Dauntless, you're bringing Suppressive, you're bringing all of that to it. Where in the case of Inferno Squad, you're bringing Repair. Okay.
Questionable, I guess, yeah.
Flavorful.
For your
full
bikes,
of flavor.
right? Yeah.
Full of flavor. No crunch.
Yeah.
No crunch for the game. And then you have Coordinate, but it's Coordinate to Trooper. It's like, well, it's Inferno Squad. They're most likely going to be infiltrating well away from a core trooper unit. So you got two of these keywords that you're paying a premium on that you never use.
And general consensus is that premium is a bit higher than it should be at the moment.
Gotcha. Well, so it might be ripe for a points adjustment in the future. Maybe we'll get the ISB agent trooper pack that they can infiltrate with or something.
It's just tough at the same time because it's more like, as we were talking about, it's like that vacuum.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in a vacuum, it looks great, but when you start looking at their comparative people and what they do in their factions, because Gideon is nearly identical to Fives. And in some ways, he's technically better than Fives because he's rolling 2 red dice rather than 2 black and a white. So you can make an argumentation that he's quote unquote better, just as a singular unit. But the problem is that Coordinate on the clones is so much stronger and so much better than the Coordinate is on Imperial.
Nice.
Yeah, going to any clone trooper as opposed to just a core trooper, it's way more flexible.
Well, yeah, I get that. Yeah, no, it's understandable. But so what do you think after this season? You up for Invader League 7?
Oh yeah.
You're going to come back for more?
Oh yeah, I'll definitely come back for more.
Nice.
It is so great to just be able to know that it's like, oh, I got 5 games that I'm going to play in the next month and a half.
That's fair. Yeah.
Like it's not one of these, oh, can I try to find somebody on the Discord? Or it's like, as I said, for a dad of 3, jumping on the Discord isn't always the best thing for me, because I go looking for a game, and it's like, if somebody doesn't come in the next 15-20 minutes, well, something else is going to come up, and I'm not, my time frame that I had set out for it is gone. But when you can get in there and be like, hey, so Saturday at 5 a.m. or Saturday at 11 or Saturday at 2, Sunday at 10, and you just know that the person's going to be there, and you can just hop into a game and be like, let's get this done.
Yeah.
And it's great, even if I am getting my butt handed to me most of the time.
Well, that's a good attitude. Well, there it is, folks. Tummnus on Twitter, excuse me, Discord. Hit him up for some games at 5 o'clock in the morning, because that's his favorite time. Thank you very much, Tummnus. Sorry, Dan, you had...
Yeah, you're just guys going to have to get the kiddos to get into the game and
there you
start
go.
playing them kitchen table.
When they get old enough, that is definitely going to happen.
Or at least get them painting for you.
Yeah.
They already know their R2D2 really well, so we're
awesome.
getting there.
All right. Thanks again, Tummnus. Appreciate you taking the time, and good luck on your last game, bud, okay?
Thanks.
All right, guys. So we've got a lot of Legion news to cover, not least of which this happened on the off week when we weren't recording, but we had some Lion Rampant leaks.
Yeah,
Dan,
which is
walk us through that, just in case people haven't heard.
What I find hilarious about this, Lion Rampant, and I've said before on the cast, they are owned by Asmodee.
Yeah.
They were acquired in 2019. If Asmodee didn't want this stuff leaking, they could send an email to just say, stop.
I'm really curious about that. I know I've talked about my conspiracy theories of game companies like GW, like purposely linking things out to see how people react and maybe start an early buzz just in case it's something they didn't want and they can just clamp down on it later. Like, oh, no, that wasn't actually ever happening. I don't know.
There's excitement. There's a buzz for like a week or 2, but then we've got how many months until the official article hits? It's
I mean, it happened with the A5 and et cetera, and the LAT, but
like I want to feel more excited about. I do feel excited about these things. I'm sorry, I don't want them to come off that way.
Yeah,
but
you're so jaded.
Yes, I've been playing since 2018,
back in the
old days of Veer's Triple Bikes.
Veer's Triple Bikes.
Yes, that was my go-to.
That was, dude. You played that for a long time,
all the way up until the first LVO. But yeah, but anyway.
Meanwhile, I was berating, angry that I couldn't fit 3 ATSTs into a list somehow. Dead set on playing the worst list I could find.
Yes. But anyway, so Lion Rampant DS did leak the next wave of releases for the clones and droids. I'm guessing this wave is basically called, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
That's basically what they're saying is the Battle of Kashyyyk here.
Yeah.
Because, like, everything... it's flavor from that, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's all basically from that. Yeah. So the big one, of course, from the... and of course, what's weird too, they listed dates on these, and all of the Republic expansions are coming out on one date, and all of the Separatists on another. So they're kind of going back to the one wave, one faction, like they did in the very first waves of the game.
Interesting.
Which isn't a bad thing, but this is a lot to come in one wave if they can coordinate getting all 4, and that's kind of doubtful with the way distribution's been lately.
Maybe that's what they're doing, is they're planning, so there's going to be some some failures along the way, and they're like, well, we got 2 of them out, that's fine. The other 2 will be in like 3 months. So
let's see. So and these expansions do mirror each other. There's what we assume is for each force slot is mirrored in the other one.
Yeah.
So on the Republic side, the commander that they showed here was Yoda. Yoda.
Say it. Yes. What? Oh man, I about metaphorically, virtually crapped myself with glee about that. I am so excited for Yoda. I know it's not going to happen, but I talked about this, I feel like years ago at the beginning when we were wish listing units we'd love to see. I'm hoping it's the Yoda on the ostrich from like the Tartakovsky version of the Clone Wars. I think that would be so cool.
That's 2 Tartakovsky references in one podcast. So
I mean, it's a really cool movie, show, vignette, whatever it is. But
I'm thinking this is the 200+ point. Palpatine / Operative Luke, Master of the Force 2, just Force wrecking ball.
Oh, it's gonna be insane.
Yeah. So hopefully they can maybe just speed 1, just to see.
I have a feeling, unless they put him on the ostrich. Except for the one round he goes berserk and just kind of starts flipping around and kicking the heads off the droids and stuff.
Yeah, that'll probably be a command card like increase your speed to 2 and
look and go. Just out there with the king.
I just hope all the wording on all of his command cards is in his speech pattern.
Oh gosh, that would be great. We're gonna have to tweet at Luke, see if he'll respond. That would be fantastic. I'm sure it'd be a nightmare for rules clarifications.
Yes. But the
Master
special
of the Force 3 years.
Oh god! So the special forces slot, at least what we assume is, and here's the interesting one on here: Wookie Warriors.
Yes. So we've had some inklings before, so this bears it out, I think.
Yeah, since the Wookiee Trooper is a defined trooper type now in the rules, which last rules update did not actually do anything, but it was just defined.
Yeah.
My speculation on this, and this is my hot take. The title is titled exactly the same as the Rebel release of Wookiees. Unlike, say, the ATRT, which was Republic ATRT versus regular ATRT. So here's my hot take.
Okay.
Since they errated all the Rebel Wookiees, this pack will be dual faction.
Oh.
Rebel and Republic, and I'll have both cards in there and.
Okay, dude, that sounds good. I mean, you got me. I mean, I hope we get confirmation, but just to be clear, this is just speculation and kind of.
So this is my hot take, my speculation, my bet.
But
and
that would be perfect.
Episode 127 when these actually come out.
Yeah, we'll think back to 105.
We'll think about 105 here and go, man. What the hell was I thinking?
I mean,
not like we haven't done that with past episodes, but anyway. But yeah, no, this is a great opportunity to put those eroded cards and to have hard plastic sculpt, because the sculpts in the Rebel pack are basically Kashyyyk Wookiees. There's nothing.
So, no, they look exactly like it.
So I mean, that's my hot take, and guess this will be dual faction that will be usable for either, and then you can either upgrade your Wookiees with new cards and the hard plastic, or keep using that.
Yeah, so sounds fine to me. The next one I had to go Google.
Well, actually, I remember when this first posted in our group chat, and then I think it was John who's like, "What the hell is that?"
Yeah, it's of all people, it was funny.
And
that thing.
Yeah, okay. And I posted the Wikipedia page link so you can get it.
And he got very excited.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, he got extremely excited.
I think I can lure him back to the game. He's seeing a new lady friend though, so it's consuming much of his time. But I know the ember still burns within his Wookiee bosom.
And I'm going to mispronounce this because I don't have enough Wookiee inflection. The Rannoch-Mask Fluttercraft, which, if anyone not aware, this is the flying vehicle that the Wookiees used. And I've seen a lot of other casts and people talk, is it helicopter? Is it a glider? No, proper term is ornithopter.
Oh, there you go. That's exactly an ornithopter. I would like to do my impression now of it flying by in a busy field. There it is. Thank you.
So interesting thing, and I was, of course, reviewing this for the podcast here. This only, at least what it's shown on screen, only has a weapon facing backwards. So that might be interesting that it's a rear arc only weapon.
Maybe it'll be an upgrade for some forward facing guns, but it gets a backwards one automatically.
So the mounted gun in there is facing backwards.
Did it have drop troops on it? Were there Wookiee drop troops?
No, not on that one. No, it was too small. It was only 2 crew.
Oh, the pilot okay. I just want to. Yeah, okay.
So maybe the pilot will have a pistol, World War I style, just flying around trying to shoot
roll down the window.
Well, it's an open air vehicle.
Yeah. No, I want the visual of Wookiee rolling down the window.
And the last one for Republic, and we're assuming this is the support unit slot, is the Infantry Support Unit expansion, which confused a lot of people in its name.
Yeah.
Because the unofficial name for this vehicle is the Swamp Speeder.
Wait, are we getting fan boats?
Yeah.
Are we going down on the bayou with some Wookiee fan boats?
Actually, it does have a pretty decent little turbojet on the back of it.
Oh, sweet.
But yeah, so this is and this is
Gators.
I know what, I actually haven't found a reference where it was actually on screen, but it was in a lot of supplemental material. But yes, it's the official title of that vehicle is the Infantry Support Platform, which is, I know, weird name, but
yeah, that's
but it's basically 2 clones with 2 mounted guns on a little platform with a big turbojet on the back, and I could see it going around going pew pew in all sorts of angles. So
that's fair.
Yeah.
I wonder. Yeah. So, any idea what kind of role is it going to be? Like an assault vehicle? Do you think it's going to be a troop transport?
That's a good question. I don't know how they're going to differentiate it from the Bark, because it has a lot of.
Similar to a
similar,
Bark.
yeah, because I could see it as either a medium-ish or maybe large base.
Too.
Yeah, I don't know how they're going to pull this one off. That's interesting thing. I'm curious to see how they're going to wedge this one in here.
Okay. But there were 2 factions at the Battle of Kashyyyk, so of course, what about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
Well, we got some, and I think this is really awesome. These announcements here.
Yeah.
I haven't really gotten your take on these, at least not in our chats.
I've been so focused on Republic. I compartmentalize when I'm in a Legion mood. It's like, okay, I'm thinking about Padme lists and things like that right now. But anyways,
so it's the multi-faction curse.
Yeah, the hobby wobbles.
Whatever the hotness is.
Right.
But no, there's some cool things in here, and this is something I've actually been looking forward to, at least in droids. The Super Tactical Droid expansion.
Yes.
So yes, I've always wanted Kalani. Kalani's been awesome, an awesome character to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel this is going to be more the support commander, the Leia, the Veers-esque.
Throwing out extra tokens and things like that.
Sure. Yeah, extra directions. So, and since it's funny they name it the Super Tactical Droid instead of putting it as a named character. So the speculation out there, will this be both a generic and then maybe a little bit more powerful unique?
Oh, interesting. Maybe
Or
2 unit cards or something.
Yeah.
That could be really
as opposed
cool.
to calling it, Kalani or one of the other named super tactical droids.
Duper tactical droid. Yeah.
And the paint, because I don't know if you remember some of the paint jobs on those guys in the cartoon, but they had like filigree and other weird details and embellishments on them. So
gilded.
Yeah, I could just see the interesting paint jobs for this guy. It's going to be both fun and
Rebels,
difficult.
Right?
Oh yeah, and he did make a showing in Rebels too.
Okay, I'm trying to think back. I'm gonna have to. God, I got so much Googling to do on some of this stuff. Yeah, here was one that I wasn't expecting to have.
What, the N99 Persader class tank droid expansion?
Can I persuade you to blow up?
No, this is the snail tank, as it's colloquially called.
Not my favorite.
No,
of the vehicles.
I think this will be the first open transport because.
Oh, you think? Oh, so this is the one. Okay.
Yeah, because obviously in the Battle of Kashyyyk, they had all the B1s riding on the little rails on the side as they were coming up there.
Oh, okay, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, so I think this will be the first open transport for CAS, though. Interesting because all the guns are pointing forward. Maneuvering that thing is probably going to be fun.
Yeah, no, for real. It's got a real long segment on it. The main body.
Yeah,
plus that giant hump at the front.
Yeah,
thing.
So I'm thinking this will probably be on the pill-shaped Gav tank base or the A55.
That would make sense. Yeah.
So let's see the dwarf spider droid.
The spider droid.
Droid. Sorry, dwarf spider droid expansion. So. This is gonna be.
That's what I've been looking forward to.
There's a lot of people 3D printing those.
Mm-hmm.
Which
using them for what? Like droidicas or something?
Yeah. They've been putting them on medium bases. I'm sure they're making homebrew rules about it. But in the 3D printing and conversions groups, I've seen a lot of spider droids going around.
That's cool.
So they are a community fan favorite.
Yeah.
I'm speculating this is basically going to be an E-Web on legs. Pretty much.
Yeah, that could be fun.
Kind of a cheap support.
Yeah.
Or kind of artillery, maybe not an emplacement, kind of.
Right.
But a little more mobile, yeah. And then one that everyone's been asking for, the IG-100 Magna Guards.
Yes. Yes. Okay, that's got me pretty excited right there. Yeah.
I'm actually surprised these didn't come out sooner.
It seems I wonder how it would line up with like the release of the Royal Guard and stuff in the original waves, like how far behind it was.
Well, Royal Guard came out the same as Palp,
Yeah,
which
so that was like a mid release. It wasn't in the first waves of stuff.
It was after Boba.
Yeah, so it was a
God.
little ways
Yeah,
down the line.
it was a little ways down.
So
but
it might be kind of on pace with that for the newer factions.
right. But these are pretty obviously going to be analogs to Royal Guards. They'll have Guardian. They'll have Electro Staff. Well,
no, I say that as somebody that took 3 Royal Guard Vader to LVO the first year.
Did you? Oh,
I did.
Oh, wow. That's right.
And I had Luke come by the table and basically go, "Oh,
oh, isn't that cute? Isn't that special?"
I was like, I spent the entire day getting shot to pieces as I tried to get into melee.
Wait, didn't you win one game?
No, that was the first year I lost all my games. The second year I had a massive improvement, got 1 victory.
Yeah, but you and John played each other in the first LVO, if I remember correctly. Wasn't it like the first game?
Oh no, it was me and Josh.
Me and Josh.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
yeah. He was my second round. I played. Anyway, not to go off on a tangent there,
but yeah, no, the manga guards. I'm just curious if they'll factor in something like if they get their head chopped off, are they still working?
Yeah.
You know?
Ooh.
But yeah,
I feel like that's 2 wounds a unit then.
Oh yeah, at least 2 wounds a unit on there. Yeah, so that is the droid attack on the Wookiees. Like I said, my only thing I don't like about this is that we learned it too soon, in my opinion.
Okay, so you spoiled the surprise. You wanted a little bit of anticipation. Maybe, I don't know, maybe, again, going back to my crazy, maybe they're like, people are really upset that we haven't announced an open transport or a transport for the droids yet. So what if we just kind of, it's a long ways away, but we just kind of put that out there in the ether.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not liking the fact that this is out and then we all get hyped and then it kind of dies down and then we don't hear anything about it for a long time and then it's like,
I just want my clone captains. That's all I want right now. Or maybe I want some Lando and Callus articles.
Yes. So yes,
coming in hot on Friday.
Literally yesterday, from when we were recording, day before we were recording here. We got our full reveals for Callus and Lando. And oh my God, these things
I think universally everybody that's chimed in on this has been pretty freaking hyped.
Yeah, I mean these are just dripping with flavor, and they're functional too. Yeah. It's crazy. Oh man,
it's so nice, and I know we've talked about it before, and Tummnus mentioned it. It's like when you have a beautiful marriage of rules and flavor. That is Star Wars.
Yes. So, do we want to start with Lando?
Sure. Let's start with the bad guys.
Yeah. So
wait, that's your line. Never mind.
But no, I mean, like I said, and of course, the only new information in these articles were the 2 missing command cards and the flaw card.
Yeah.
But I just love the 1 pip command card. It is just so Lando.
I do have one question. So, Idiot's Array. Obviously, that's a hand in Sabacc. Featured in the Solo movie, if I recall.
Solo movie, and in I think it was in Rebels too.
Was it? It's time to rewatch Rebels, I guess. And then, but Ace up his sleeve. Is there aces in Sabacc?
Good question.
I think that's more of the metaphorical ace up his sleeve.
Right. I mean, and it was stated on when one of the AMG painting strings, the one that Luke was on, talking about it, and this was before this articles came out. He did mention that all of their command cards were gambling /poker /card game /
okay. So, good. Okay. Well, that makes sense then. Then we've got all in, which could be versatile for either one. And of course,
so Idiot's Array.
Yeah.
1 pip, Lando only. Lando gains Gunslinger and Marksman. And before I get to the wall of text this next, just remember Gunslinger and Marksman.
Yeah.
If there is a 3 pip command card in your discard pile, Lando gains 1 aim and 1 dodge. If there's, and I'm paraphrasing this to make it read a little easier.
Yeah, please do.
If there is a 3 pip and 2 pip card, you get 2 aims and 2 dodges. And if there's a 3 pip, 2 pip, and 1 pip card in your discard pile, you get 3 aims and 3 dodges. So interesting.
3 aims. What kind of gun does he have again?
He has a range 1 to 3 with 2 dice.
Okay.
So everyone's thinking, why 3 aims?
Yeah.
Yeah, Marksman. Remember, you gain Marksman.
Of course.
So literally, if you roll that and get blank and paint, you can then spend all those aims and literally make it double crit. So as long as you get one paint result.
Gunslinger, okay.
Yeah, and of course, your gunslinger, so you're using it on multiple attacks, so you can spread those aims out across multiple attacks as well. So yeah, it's not a waste.
I feel like this is going to be one of the most projected cards out there. It's like, let me see your discard. That's interesting.
I think that's a question players actually don't ask enough to their opponents is, can I see your discard? Because there is a lot of
There's definitely going to be a reason now, especially if they're playing Lando.
Oh, yeah.
So how bad of a turn? And you could always spring it a little bit early. I mean, still getting, 2 aims and 2 dodges and that kind of thing.
And he gets the gunslinger and marksman no matter what. So even if you play this turn 1, it's not most effective playing turn 1. But you could if you need to, do a quick...
It's going to build up the anticipation. Yeah. And I love the art for this.
The art is perfect. And the problem is, I saw a lot of people confused at this art online.
Because they hadn't played.
They hadn't played Battlefront. Yeah. So everyone's like, what's going on in his cloak there? Whose face is that? I even had someone call out, is that Plagueis in his cape? I'm like, what? And yes, I had to use the. I found a
Plagueis Aduros.
No, he was immune, but they look similar enough.
Really? Okay.
Yes. Anyway, had to explain that to a few people.
I love that he's like. Lando is just like, the absolute just like diva with his cape flowing and just shadowing his buddy. That was actually a real hardcore dude in the game too. It was a really funny guy, and just kind of literally overshadowing him. Yes. That or he's hiding behind Mama Hen Lando's feathers or something.
If anyone's played Battlefront, they know Shriv. They know that Shriv is like totally being annoyed.
Lando's flipping his case like cape right in the face.
And the 2-pip here, Ace Up Its Sleeve. Now this is the one we saw in the reveal article, so there's not too much to go over on that. But the third command card, the 3-pip, all in Lando in 2 units.
I love this one.
Mm-hmm. I mean, it's got the art of him in the Jabba's palace disguise.
Yeah, was it the obese armor? I forget. Whatever the call was.
Yeah, that's the armor
his
Lando
in disguise.
The obese is the armor Leia used, but
anyway. Oh, that's right. That's what it was. I knew it was.
But an enemy at range. Each enemy at range 1 to 3 and in line of sight of Lando gains 2 observation tokens. Before Lando rolls dice during attack, you can declare either block or crit if you're, and after your reroll dice step, if there's one of those declared results, you get to add 2 matching results. Or if you don't, your opponent removes 2 of your dice. So this is the ultimate gambling card.
It is. It's so good.
Yes. Now I just thought, crap, when does the reroll dice step? Is that before or after? No, wait, he doesn't have marksman built in. It's in that card. Sorry. I thought if he had marksman, he could fix into that, but no. I was mixing up the 2 command cards. So, but yeah, I mean, statistically, it's easier to get a block on a defense roll. So this is slightly better for defense rolls, but you want to do that.
You want to have the flashy finish,
flashy nut YOLO roll.
Man, that's gonna be some legendary moments. At the table,
I'm sure there will be like. So I'm waiting for the first like tournament game where this is played.
Yeah,
and where it actually matters to the game. I mean, that's going to be a hell of a story.
Lando seems like so much fun.
Mm-hmm. He does have a bit of a flaw, though.
Oh, really? Is he too smooth? No such thing.
No, he has a card that says he's.
Right. Mechanics. Okay.
Yeah. So his flaw card is I've altered the deal, and this, of course, is Vader. Finger in his chest going, pray I don't alter it further. I want an alt art of the Robot Chicken sketch.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. I was like, also, you must wear this tutu.
And this unicycle and these clown shoes.
Deal's getting worse and worse all the time.
This deal is acceptable, and I'm okay with it.
Thank you, Robot Chicken.
Yeah, I personally feel that all Robot Chicken sketches are canon.
Yeah,
and I
absolutely.
But anyway, you may play this card at the start of a command phase if there are at least 3 cards in the discard pile of an opponent who controls Lando. I know it's wordy, but I know they have to make it specific to that. That opponent cannot use contingencies or Lando's command cards. So it kind of shuts down all of Lando's plans. Now, of course, Lando using contingencies is going to be discarding cards faster.
Yeah.
Because if everyone remembers, contingency, you play the first card, and then you discard it to play the one out of contingencies. And then after that round, that card also gets discarded. So you can play this as early as turn 2. Or maybe even, early as turn 2, I believe, is the earliest you can play this, at least for that effect. I'll probably have to remath that out later.
Yeah,
kicking myself later. But, I mean, it basically shuts down... If you go heavy into Lando's cards and contingencies...
So you feel that Idiot's Array coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or, I mean, if you pair him with Operative Luke, you know that Son of Skywalker is coming.
Oh,
you can just shut that down. Or, wait. There's a Callus card that's better at that. But
hey, speaking of Callus cards that are better at that, and just awesome in general.
Oh, yeah, Callus. I like...
Are you going to play Callus?
Yes,
of
course.
Of course.
I mean, not only is he the new hotness, but he is looking to be the Imperial commander that is the most flexible to fit with other army elements around him.
Oh, okay.
At least that's what the early things I've seen, because I've seen a lot of theory crafting lists in Discord Imperial chat and on Facebook. They're building fits in a wide variety of things, as opposed to, say, Iden, you want to play her with ISFs or Inferno, or Krennic, you want to play him with Death Troopers, or Emperor, you want to play him with Royal Guards, Veers, you want to play. So Callus doesn't have an obvious thing that attaches to him.
Okay.
So that really makes him flexible. I've seen him with Operative Vader lists. I've seen him with Iden lists. I've seen him with Krennic lists for double cunning. I've seen him they're I think he's going to be played a lot more, mainly due to his flexibility. Mm-hmm. And with or without the bow staff too, if you just want to use his cunning and contingencies for a cheap 90-point
he's still
commander.
a canny operative.
Yeah. So I really think that he's really going to be played a lot, mainly because of his flexibility.
Okay.
In his 1 pip, of course, we already saw on the reveal article, Face Me, and I think you only use this 1 pip because it's melee focused, really. He gains agile, he gains block, he can switch to his gun, and somebody engaged with him can't disengage. I think you only include this card if you have the bow staff equipped.
Yes. Yeah.
You don't have the bow staff. Yeah.
Honestly, and that's actually a good thing to keep in mind when you're building your list. It's like, well, do I have room for this 1 pip? Well, do I actually need to bring the bow staff if I'm not going to be playing it?
Luckily, contingencies gives you that flexibility of, do I throw it in or not? So. But the 2 pip, I think the 2 pip is his most powerful. Mm-hmm. And this thing is nutty. Again, a little wordy, so I'm going to paraphrase a little bit. Declare a number and choose an opponent. That opponent sets aside, face up, any command cards that have with pips that equal that number.
So I say 2.
So yes, I, as your opponent, would then take all the 2 pips that are still in my hand, lay them face up on the table.
Wow.
The second half of this is that opponent returns the command cards to their hand after they select another command card in a later round. So I can't use that for the next command card turn either.
Wow.
So everyone, I mean, both you and your opponent can work around it. Not work around it, I should say, but be prepared for it to happen next turn, that you can't use those cards because it's known the turn before, but it still can hamper, again, if you want to shut down the Son of Skywalker turn.
Or even see if there's one in the cards if you're playing like a Rebel Super Friends type thing and there's a bunch of characters on there with command cards, and it could be a real question about what they actually brought with them, and you're like, oh, okay, now I know for sure it's gonna, of course, Son of Skywalker is gonna be in there, but come on.
and to get the most of this, again, you're gonna have to ask your opponent, can I see your discard pile? Mm-hmm. So you can see what they have played to know what they haven't, to best choose which pip to say. So yeah,
that's Dan's tip for the day.
Exactly.
Check your opponent's discard pile.
And I've been asking that for my opponents since I think
you've asked me. I've asked you, like, hey, what's
absolutely. There was a lot of information to be gleaned from that, so that's my pro tip of the day.
This man has no idea what he's doing. I could have told you that.
So you get info and you shut down command cards for a turn. This is, I think, a really powerful selection. Now, it doesn't go into the contingencies, but again, you can't play something out of contingencies if you don't play the same pip that turn. And as last one, Ruthless Tactics, another good card. 3 pips, Callus, and 2 units. After an enemy unit defends against a range attack, it gains 1 observation token, or 2 observation tokens if it has suppression equal or exceeding its courage value. So again, I think this is going to help suppression builds, even though suppression isn't as
not quite what it used to be.
But I see this more as a kind of coordinated fire that's a little coordinated fire light, but it's more flexible.
Okay.
Because instead of core units only shooting and then passing aims around, it's anyone shooting and you're getting observation tokens on your opponent.
You know, it's kind of interesting to see an Imperial unit with as much flexibility as Callus is bringing to the table. No wonder he goes over to the Rebels.
Well, not yet, because there's still one more line of on the Ruthless Tactics here. During his activation, he can perform a free recover. So you get a free recover as part of that as well.
That's always nice.
So if you need to switch modes, switch back from bonking someone with your bow staff to shooting them, you can. But you were saying about going over the Rebels?
Yeah. So are these two-sided cards? So we get a Rebel side on the other one? Or mutton chops for freedom?
I don't know. Well, maybe because I'm on the Imperial side. I don't see why so many people want the Callus Rebel or the Iden Rebel. I don't know.
I wonder if we'll get an actual Fulcrum release, later down the line.
Possibly something to do with Ahsoka when she comes out eventually.
That would be. It's got to be a matter of time, right?
Exactly.
I'm actually. How come we're not playing Ahsoka right now? I'm wondering that. But it's not all upside. It's not all sunny thing because he is a conflicted character.
Yes, apparently he's developing sympathies, which is the name of his flaw card. Okay. You may play this card at the start of the command phase if there is a wounded enemy Callus. So if he's got a boo-boo, if he stubs his toe.
He messed around. He found out. He's rethinking his life right now.
I'm just thinking, you shot me. Now I kind of want to think about joining you.
Kind of felt good, actually.
But at the end of the enemy's Callus activation, if he performed an attack, he gains 4 suppression. Not the hardest thing to work around, I don't think.
No, it's definitely, I think that, again, it's not as hardcore as some of the other flaws, but it's definitely, it doesn't think about it.
Yeah, because, the flaw played at the right time for Anakin is a dead Anakin. A flaw played at the right time for Lando really just shuts down
spoils his plans, yeah.
This one, I don't think is that bad because suppression management is not a hard thing to get Imperial. We have Inspire commanders. We have strict orders.
Yeah, you just might need to have an outlet plan for it.
Yeah, so I my theory crafting with him, I've gone from putting tenacity on him to putting endurance just in case. That's the only minor change I've done because of this reveal. So yeah,
he's very stoic.
So I don't think this flaw is actually as big a deal. Now, of course, until I get to actually play it and then someone screws me over with it.
Yeah, you're like, how did I not see this? This is the worst thing ever. As you are prone to do, your hyperbole is legendary.
So I don't feel this is as bad as the other flaws out there, but we'll see.
We're going to have to get Jeff to play a game as Lando, and you're going to play Callus.
Yeah,
and it's going to be fantastic.
I'm down to proxy this and give it a shot.
Do we have everything we need to be able to proxy?
Yes. This revealed everything, including all the other little included.
We might need to set that up.
As far as the, and I didn't put this in the notes because none of the equipment cards that were spoiled in this pack were any new. But they are giving, at least to the Rebel and Imperial players, vigilance, portable scanners, siege the initiative. So we're getting all the stuff that other factions have already gotten.
Have been enjoying.
Yeah. Into now, if we can only get another Force user, so we can get Force Barrier. That's another. So yeah, I'm really excited for Callus, and I know a lot of people are excited for Lando. Yes, they did paint both a Lando and a Callus on the paint streams. And they look awesome, those models. Yeah, they haven't painted a de-helmeted Callus yet, though. They've only painted the helmeted one, and everyone was asking for the mutton chops.
Yeah, come on. Give the people what they want. Yeah. But these look like 2 very positive additions to the Legion arsenal, and I can't wait to play with and against both of these. I might have to throw out together a 500-point list for each one just to... Because they seem so much fun.
Yeah.
Especially Lando. Oh, man. I'm going to paint all his capes. They're all going to be magnetized. Are we feeling royal purple today, Lando? Indeed we are. But there it is, guys. A lot of information, so thank you for sticking with us. And as always, thank you again to our Patreon supporters. If you want to support what we're doing here on the podcast, patreon.com/Legion Outriders. They can find Dan as Outrider Dan/DanTech on the Discord, not Twitter. Because you're not on Twitter. I am on Twitter at GRN_Archer, or you can find me on Twitch at Captain_Archer. And yeah, that's it for this episode. Ooh, and we've got crates, yes. So we spoiled for the on our Patreon Discord the STL files we were kind of talking about last time. They're nearing completion. We'll have more information on that, and they're going to be freely available for people that are Patreon supporters, plus plans for some more stuff here soon. So stay tuned, Outriders, and we'll see you next time.
This concludes the current episode of the Legion Outriders podcast. You may cultivate a tactical advantage by observing the Outriders on Facebook or Twitter at Legion Outriders. Wisdom advocates subscribing to the podcast. Acting otherwise is reckless.